1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome back to the world of storytelling with me, Ronni. And today we have a lovely episode from Slieve na Calliagh. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Loughcrew Cairns, which are the highest peak, the highest mountain in County Meath. And I'm up there with the fabulous Hans. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you tune in next week for the next one. It's going to be great. Now, before we get going, what water gives you a bounce in your step? That's right, spring water. Spring water. Oh, thanks very much for listening and have a wonderful, wonderful day. So tell a story, one that is true. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here with Hans. And Hans, you and I, on a Sunday morning, I think 2 weeks ago, we climbed Slieve na Calliagh, Loughcrew Cairns, the highest mountain in County Meath, which is not much of a mountain, is it?
No, it's on a hill, but it's a beautiful hill, and the significance of Loughcrew is that it has a beautiful top, which was built about 5,000 years ago by, I believe, Neolithic people who built a big mound, including a passageway that goes into the middle of it. And the most amazing thing about it is that twice a year at the equinox, the sun shines directly into the passageway when it comes over the horizon. Of course, it only does that when it's not raining. If it happens, it is absolutely beautiful because it illuminates the chamber and the sun shines on all the beautiful artwork that is in that chamber. So it's an amazing thing to see.
What's your connection to Loughcrew?
Well, to clarify, I'm not Irish, I'm German, but I live in Ireland for the past 26 years now. And I came up to it regularly, not only kind of at the equinox when the sun is supposed to shine to the chamber, but also in between, because it's a place which hasn't, for me, I don't know if everybody can feel the same, but it has an amazing energy. And I think the people 5,000 years ago could feel it, and I think people nowadays can still feel it. And because Loughcrew is still very raw and not that well known, I think that energy is still retained. When I first went up to Loughcrew, there was a gate on the entrance to the chamber, but you could go to an old lady who lived at the bottom of the hill, and you could knock on the door of a cottage and she would get the key for the lock of that gate, and then you would just bring it back afterwards. So this doesn't happen anymore. Like, there's many theories about Loughcrew. Why would those people go up there and build this big, huge mound? And how did they have the knowledge even to know that the sun would come up and shine at the direct angle into the passageway? There must have been a really important reason for doing that. Like, many people say, well, it was a burial place or it had some spiritual connection or whatever. My theory is that it is a place to celebrate fertility. I even said it to my son this morning. If you look at Loughcrew from the next town, which is Oldcastle, it actually looks like a boob.
I was going to say.
It does. And you look at that passageway, well, it could remind you of a phallus symbol. Yeah. And then the widening of the chamber could be
balls.
No, I would say it kind of would resemble a womb.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
And I think that at that time the sun was God. Everything was connected to the sun. So my own little theory is that what happened was that they wanted the energy of the sun to be induced into their leaders, right? So I think what happened was that at equinox, in that chamber, when the sun came up, they tried to create the next generation of leaders. I think this was not a burial place. I think at the time, probably the king and the queen, tried to create an offspring.
An offspring, yeah. Which is quite a powerful image, and also probably quite pressurizing. If you if you know you have just that one moment to get on it.
Well, you had the chance twice a year.
Right, yeah.
So, I had a friend, I used to work with him, and he actually squeezed under that gate that was in place at the time. There was a gap, and if you were kind of skinny enough, you could squeeze into it.
Yeah.
And he used to do that he would come up and spend the night there. And hoping to feel that energy as well. Yeah.
And did he?
I can't remember, but because he came back again and again.
Yeah.
I think that he must have felt that energy pretty powerful.
Must have felt something. Talking about energy of the place, and this is something I wanted to ask you about. So when we were up there, I did something very rude. I farted. I farted quite loudly.
I didn't find it very shocking. I just didn't expect it at all. Because, and I'm amazed you're open enough to talk about this.
I mean, I think it's I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And we had this nice walk going up to Loughcrew, and we were talking about the sacredness of the place and the miracle of the whole thing and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, kind of, if you value something and you respect something, you don't fart in its face, basically. And it was that we were standing outside the chamber in this beautiful sacred place in a way, you know.
Yeah.
And feeling kind of, well, I feel in awe up there, and farting is just something very earthy to do, so probably. So yeah, I thought it was not really appropriate.
And it's really good to kind of hear that back now. So I have Crohn's disease. I don't know if we've ever spoken about it.
All right, no.
So I fart quite a lot, and you know it's. I often ask people when I'm in a room with them, but when I'm outside in nature, I think the switch goes on that generally in nature, especially when it's windy, you can kind of get away with it, especially if it's not so loud. And then there it was. But also, you know, that was a really good reminder of how it isn't appropriate in certain places, and how the sacredness that I was feeling from that place, which is a very like natural, you know, ethereal, wild, cloudy, kind of very earthy place. But then to you, that's more like a very quiet church where doing something like that would be extremely disrespectful. So that was it was really good for me to hear that and question myself as well. But so I wanted to apologize again.
Yeah, it's good that kind of it was mentioned, you know, and it's good to hear your perspective as well. Because I'm sure the people who built it, they didn't have a problem farting up there. You know?
Well, I wonder.
I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. Like, you know. Maybe they got killed by the king if they disrespected the place.
Yeah. You know, I've known you for a few years, not that well, but you give off this sense of groundedness, and I see the way you are with your kids. You have this very calm and very relaxed energy. I'm curious, what's your secret, Hans?
Well, there is no secret. The thing is that I went through some difficult times in my life, as everybody does. And my way to find a way out of this struggle, or to see struggle as something that can be positive, right, was stoicism. I found a way to find the love of my life, or it helped me to find the love of my life and to create a big family and to make me a happy man. Stoicism, and together with the writings of Ovid, is something that had such an enormous influence on my life. One of the main things is that you don't worry about things that are outside of your control, right? Which is very, very important. And the second thing is that you don't believe that things are bad or good that happen to you. You just kind of look at things and you see that they're happening. But if they're good or bad, this is only our own judgment.
The reason why we're recording this podcast a few weeks later, as well as the fact that I was away for 2 weeks, is that you had to come back to make Sunday morning waffles for your kids. And that was not going to be missed. It was very, very clear. To me, that shows you the dedication as a father, which you are. And also I've never seen you busking, but the way you describe it, especially when you go with Johanna and she's singing and you're playing the trumpet, it sounds like a very fantastic image.
Yeah, I only started busking 2-3 years ago because of basically money trouble. Because we have to pay rent and have to keep this big family running.
And they're tall, so they eat a lot.
Yeah, they eat a lot of food. And I'm lucky enough that many of the shopping centres around the area, they let me play inside, which kind of enhances the sound of a trumpet. And I go in there and I just play love songs and mellow songs to make people relaxed and happy. And that's what happens, really. And I have many people who say, "Oh, you made my day now." I know that when I play the Rose, that many people come up to me and either say something or give me money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think it's very good for the kids as well to see that. You know, like I want to encourage them to do the same thing, because I had big difficulties to go busking in the first place with the trumpet, because I'm very shy person. I don't really like to draw attention to myself. So if you play the trumpet anywhere in the street or in the shopping centre, it's just you say, "I'm here, look at me," you know, which is not the natural thing for me to do.
Yeah.
So it's basically exposure therapy for myself, you know, kind of the more you do it, the more you do it. And I realized in the last 2-3 years, I became so much more confident. One of the things that I'm proudest of is that I introduced social farming into St. John of God.
Go on.
That's a good while ago. Social farming is a development that happens all over Europe or all over the world at the moment, that people from various backgrounds go to private farms and spend the day there and kind of connect with nature and connect to farming families and just have a good time. And at the time, I worked with many people who were institutionalized. They didn't even know where the food was coming from. It was served to them on trays. And to bring them out to a farm where they could kind of harvest their own food and cook it and eat it, you know, and have that connection to animals and to nature and to trees was, for me, kind of very fulfilling. There was a time, unfortunately the funding is not there at the moment, but 2 years ago, where you would see people in the service where I'm working, it's kind of still on a big campus, they would stand at the side of the road and they would wait for the transport to bring them to a farm. And it was every day there was kind of 10 or 20 people going to different farms. And that was just, for me, it was beautiful to see. And I thought, yeah, that's something you did well.
Now, this is a postscript to our recording. We're sat here in your living room, in your sitting room, and there's a bed in here. And you said that you and your wife now sleep in the sitting room because your daughter wanted a bigger room. And like King Saud said, everything for the children. So this is what leads us on to the next segment of our hearing wise words for life from Hans.
We were just kind of talking about, if King Saud says everything for the children, what is everything? Is everything material, or is everything other things? And my thinking is that if you can make your children understand that material things are not so important, but that there's other values that are much more important, if you manage to give them that kind of thinking, that they want to develop their character in this kind of way, that they live in agreement with their own nature and with the world as a whole, then they have everything they need in life. And this is not something material, this is something bigger. For Andrew Tate, the world is war. Everywhere is war. He says that himself.
Yeah.
You know? And he's right, the world is a lot of struggle, and there's conflict and everything everywhere. But I don't think that your relationship with the love of your life should be war. It should be peaceful. And this is something that my favorite author, Ovid, proposes. You can have struggle with the whole world, but with your girlfriend, you should live in peace. This is something I find very important, because Andrew Tate says of himself that he's a stoic. One of the key values of Stoicism is temperance, that you don't necessarily strive to be rich, or those material things are not important. I think what happens at the moment, this happens with Trump, this happens with a lot of right-wing politicians, this happens with Andrew Tate as well, is that they think the world firstly works only on a transactional basis. You give me something, I give you something.
Yeah.
That goes for friendship, that goes for love, that goes for everything. And it goes, in their mind, it goes with controlling your partner as well. You know, power and control over your partner. And I just think this is absolutely incompatible with a healthy relationship. Now, Ovid in the Ars Amatoria says, and this is the main point, what he says is, if you want to be loved, you have to be lovable. Right? I think this is just a step back what's happening now. It's probably a major step back, you know, and terrible things will happen, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Like, history will go on, and it will prove those people wrong.
Amen.
There you go. So we hope.
So we hope. I think we should finish off with a moment of silence for your dead chickens.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, I mean, to explain to the audience, Hans is a fantastic not chicken farmer. You've had chickens for many, many years, and you've lovely chickens. I even had the honour of feeding them over the Christmas period when you were away. But a pine marten got in last weekend.
Unfortunately, killed them all. Every single one of them.
Every single one of them. And they were beautiful. And one of them was called Obama.
Well, Obama, he went a few years ago.
Okay.
He wasn't one of them who was killed there.
Why was a chicken called Obama? A rooster called Obama?
Well, yeah, he was a beautiful rooster. Beautiful rooster called Obama. And he was called Obama because my chickens, they were living in a mobile chicken coop, which could be dragged from lawn to lawn. And that was white. So this was obviously the White House, and Obama was living in that White House.
Yeah.
And under that mobile coop was a big fat rat, who made his home there.
Yeah.
And we just kind of looked at that rat and we thought, well, it has some resemblance to Donald Trump. So our thinking was, well, this rat tries to get this rooster out of the White House. And that's how we came up with the name Obama then. That's the story.
Which is great. Thank you so much, Hans.
Okay, thank you, Ronni.
It's been a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you.
Some say the old ruins in the sand tell us every story will come to an end. But my dear, we can live what we tell. We are storytelling animals.